Let's get to the news, Gary. As you said, Anthony Joshua reveals new negotiations to fight Deontay Wilder. Is the quote from good old Sky News and or Sky Sports.
That was cool, by the way that it all moved around. Then I like that as well.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, a lot of this, I'm not going to read the entire quote because all it is that AJ says after the fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, if Deontay Wilder wins, he's going to throw out an offer for the fight to derail the third one. And look, I have very little thoughts about this because there's no offer happening. There's really no negotiations happening right now. It's just sort of Anthony and Joshua talking about this is what's going to happen. I am going to do this. That has a low cachet, in my opinion, in terms of like validity. Because like, look, we talk often. We're going to talk about offers that do get sent, and the validity of offers being sent is even in question. There's not even an official offer being sent, or even one that's being talked about being sent here. It's just Anthony Joshua sort of threatening to disrupt Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury's trilogy plans, which, hey, credit to him. He should do that. But I'm more the mindset, I'll cross that bridge when we get there concerning AJ Wilder because I don't have the mental space or like the mental strength to deal with this when it's not even happening right now. But Rob, I want to get your take on it first. Thoughts on Anthony Joshua out here saying that he will send offers to Deontay Wilder if he beats Tyson Fury in February?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's just like good to hear. Like, you know, trying to make the fight again. You know, the best fight that could be made, maybe. So, yeah, it's good to hear. Does it happen? I mean, does an offer get sent? Probably. Is it accepted, taken, or whatever? Probably not. So it will then just, I guess, add to the narrative of whatever of, oh, we're sending offers, they're not interested, this and the other. I mean, like I say, Finkel spoke to World Boxing News and he said, we're not interested in any offers. We're concentrating on Tyson Fury. We've got this, that, and the other. As he should. I mean, I don't know. So at this stage, all it was after they met with Usyk's people, Joshua said, we then had our own meeting and talking about this curveball offer. And he was saying, like, we'll send it and hopefully Wilder can look at his contract with Fury and find a way out of it. I mean, as it stands, as we understand it, I mean, is the loser of the fight can trigger the like either guy can trigger it.
It's a two-way rematch clause. Is what
so I think the thought is if Wilder was to, I don't know, knock out Wilder in sort of dramatic fashion or whatever.
Wait, hold on. Wilder knock out Wilder?
It might happen.
It might. I mean,
Tyson tried it.
He did. He was close. He was very close.
But if Wilder was to knock out Fury in dramatic fashion in sort of, I don't know, like the 5th round or something, I don't know if the thought is that will Fury want to trigger that the trilogy straight away? Does that contract stay in play if Wilder goes elsewhere? I don't know. But as a lot of people tended to point out, with Bob Arum and Al Heyman piecing these contracts together, you'd probably think they're pretty tight. So I don't know. But it's look, I think since AJ's loss, he's of the mindset of let's get these big fights done and make the big money. And willing to, I don't know. And Eddie's obviously spoken of 50-50 in the recent news as well. So there's no, this fight can get made before the Fury fight because it doesn't matter, I guess, regardless of whatever pay-per-views it does. Because 50-50 is 50-50. It's half of whatever the fight's going to generate. So it's not a case of, I just done 1 million buys against Fury. I want... I want more, or it's 50-50 split down the middle. So whatever the fight's worth, they're getting half each. So we'll wait and see. I'm sure some cameras will be in Eddie's face soon, and we'll hear Eddie's
side of
things and what Eddie's got to say about it.
And as we know, obviously the today Wilder Fury 2 is having another press conference in LA, which I don't understand why, but
It's just lead up with the Super Bowl, right?
I guess. But anyways, so we're obviously going to get both of their thoughts on that probably on Saturday. Saturday morning, I want to say, is when the presser is, right? So we should know relatively soon their thoughts as well concerning AJ coming in and trying to play spoiler for that trilogy. Gary, your thoughts on AJ coming in here and trying to play spoiler to a trilogy Wilder Fury 3 fight?
Well, I would rather get the AJ versus the winner. I don't know why he's negotiating with Wilder when Wilder was badly outboxed and lost, 9-10 rounds in the first fight. All traditional logic would tell us that Fury is going to win the rematch. So, I mean, it would, you know what I'm saying? It's like negotiating with Errol Spence and Ivan Redcash and saying, well, if Redcash was, Redcash isn't going to win. That's a ridiculous sentiment,
Wait,
right?
are you comparing Deontay Wilder to Ivan Redcash?
Yeah, that's right.
Yo,
No.
Gary came on the show on one, man.
Stay off the weed.
Oh my god.
No, but it just seems. I mean, look, if you ask the boxing public, I think most people would pick Tyson Fury to win that fight and win it relatively easily. So I'm not sure, okay, what this all means. Now, if you're trying to get this fight instead of the Fury fight, it's a little late for that. And we've been through this. And we're going to see later with Al Heyman, guys, they don't really want to work outside of the PBC circle. So I just don't see this happening. It'll happen for Fury because the first fight was a success, right? But I don't see him going over and working with Eddie Hearn. I just can't see it at this time, not with these fights lined up. And then, should Wilder win, then you can have him fight Kwanaki, which is not the best option in the world, but it's a pretty good option. You can have him fight
Or Helenius.
or Helenius.
Get out, Rob. Get out, you trolling bastard.
I think would be get Ruiz a win, have Ruiz come back, look good. I think a Wilder Ruiz fight would be a huge draw. And I think either fighter could win that fight. So it just seems like a weird timing now, and AJ just kind of wants to throw his name in there again.
Oh, you don't want the fight. You're a shitty boxing fan.
Yo, Rob's trolling is on high point today, man. I'm so glad. We're in a silly mood. I feel it on today's podcast. It's gonna be a great podcast.
When Spence and Crawford do this, if you really want to make the fight will get made, right? Fury really wanted the Wilder fight. It got made immediately. When you're that big of a star, you're in control, but they don't really want the fight. Right? That was abundantly clear when they did this 2 years ago, whenever it was, 3 years ago, when Wilder and AJ did this. Neither one of them really wanted the fight, so it didn't get made.
I agree with that assessment, Gary. You were ranting and rambling there, and I was laughing at a lot of it, so it's kind of hard to keep track of what your points were. So I just wanted to clarify what you said. And Gary, if you can you sort of tilt your camera down a little bit, please? Thank you.
Little midget.
It's funny because Gary's pretty tall, aren't you?
Are you allowed to say midget? Are you allowed to say midget anymore?
You're 5'11". Yeah, I don't think you can, by the way, Rob. I think
you
it's
can.
just people.
That's wrong.
It's little people, I think.
Dwarf? What
No,
did you say?
No, dwarf is a different thing. That's dwarfism. And then you have little people.
Little people seems worse than midget.
I'm like 99.9% sure. Okay, but anyways, digressing back to Gary's point about Robbie fucking bastard. AJ Wilder, your thinking is that Wilder has enough lucrative options besides AJ that there's no reason to force that fight on his thinking or his camp's thinking. So we're not getting that fight this year. Secondly, AJ is coming in here fully expecting not to actually make this fight, right? So it's kind of it's just good PR without really any substance behind it. I think is sort of what your point is, Gary, right? Okay. Then I agree with it. I agree with a lot of what you said. And I agree with what Rob said, too. I mean, I think we're all sort of on the same wavelength here that this is just a headline. And it's AJ smartly putting himself back into the conversation amongst these two guys who have been in the headlines a lot lately because they're doing a lot of press for this big fight next month. It's just shrewd business on everyone's side to a degree. and that's why we don't get big fights.